You know there's a way for nurses to start a business, but there's so many moving pieces. Cut through the crap. It's time to go right to the source and get real about what's working in business and marketing for nurses with your host, the founder of Nursepreneurs, Catie Harris.
Hi, it's Catie, and this is another episode of the Nursepreneur podcast. And on today's show, I have Christal Parker, who owns Self-Care RX, which is a holistic self-care company for nurses. And Christal has been doing this for, how long have you been doing this now, Christal?
I'm in my first year.
In your first year. Oh, this is so exciting. So I love talking about nurses in business and how they got started. So why don't you start out by telling us how you got into nursing and how it kind of led up to where we are now.
Okay, well, I've been in nursing for 8 years now. Majority of that time spent in the emergency room. I got into nursing. I have a family full of nurses. My mom's a nurse, my cousin's a nurse, my aunt's a nurse. Everybody's a nurse. So I actually tried to not go into nursing. I knew I wanted to do something in the medical field, but I tried everything else and it just ended up leading me to nursing. And I do really enjoy nursing, so it all worked out at the end. I should have listened to my mom years ago, but.
So what degree did you do first?
I actually got my bachelor's in psychology from Cal State Fullerton. I knew I didn't want to necessarily do psychology, but I couldn't keep up with the biology degree. So I ended up going into psychology. And then right after I graduated, I started my prereqs for nursing school, applied, and ended up getting a nursing school and doing that.
So did you ever work in the field of psychology of any sort, or?
I didn't. No.
Okay. So you saw the light and said, I gotta do what my mom told me to do in the first place.
Exactly.
Okay. And now you are currently in a master's degree as well?
I am. I'm getting my family nurse practitioner from, I'm doing it online, and I will be done in October.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes.
Okay. So how did this all lead to Self-Care RX? Like what kind of triggered this whole idea of starting a business?
Well, I was about a year or two, probably 2 years ago, I found myself getting burnt out in nursing. Working in the emergency room, it just got to be a lot. The patient load, it was a very bad flu season that year. So we had 24-hour waits, patients galore. I mean, we were giving blood transfusions in the hallways, and it was just a really rough time. So I found myself just dreading wanting to go to work. But I was also gearing up for a wedding at that time. So I had to do overtime.
Wait, your own wedding or somebody else's wedding?
my own wedding.
Okay.
So I had to do a lot of overtime, which meant I had to be at work a lot. And I just found myself in a rut. So what ended up happening is closer to my wedding, as I say, I started, working out, eating healthier. Friends were treating me to massages, and I just started kind of taking care of myself. I then took about a month break off during my wedding and honeymoon. And I just noticed that when I came back to work after investing more time in my self-care, I noticed that my burnout was kind of subsiding. And I just was thinking self-care might be the way, and doing things outside of work, not just focus on work so much. So that's how I started thinking about self-care as a whole, and just kind of getting the word out to nurses, because I was talking to other nurses and realized that we do not take care of ourselves. We have aches and pains, we don't go to the doctor for it and get checked out, up to, taking care of our kids and just not doing anything for ourselves.
That's so true, and it's funny that you say that because, it's like when you're at work and you're going, you're like, I'm fine, and then if you actually take time off and do something, and you come back, you're like a completely different person.
And I talk to a lot of nurses too, who same thing with maternity leave. They might go on light duty, have a change of scenery for a couple months before they have the baby, and then they're off for months, and then they come back feeling much more refreshed. So a lot of it is time off too, but a lot of it is just just taking time to do things for yourself.
Right. And I think one of the problems there too is that, you can't go on maternity leave or take a month off like all the time.
Right.
So there has to be something else that you can do in the short run to have that feeling. Because the other thing is that you come back from maternity leave and it's like a week later and you're back into the same old rut.
Right. Exactly.
I got to take another 6 weeks off or 12 weeks or whatever it is. But
right.
So how do you help people in that respect?
Well, more so getting either exercise regimen, because I know when I started that, I felt much happier working out. And the thing about working out is I find that I didn't really notice it at first. Like, okay, I'm going to the gym. I'm not a gym type person. I'm more of I can eat healthier than I do enjoy going to the gym. But over time, you start to see, okay, well, I was talking to a friend and she's like, well, I don't really notice I have energy after the gym. And I said, well, do you notice you come home and you kind of start cleaning your house, or you start doing all these errands, things that you would maybe be, in a rut and just laying on the couch watching TV for endless hours. And she's like, actually, now that you say it that way, I do see that. So the working out kind of, because I was like that, I would spend 3-4 days in a row at work, and then the next 3-4 days I would spend at home on the couch not doing anything, and then so I just find that working out, taking care of yourself, doing yoga, taking time to get massages, going to get your nails done, taking time to think about your mental health care, self-care, which is another big thing that I promote, and checking on where you are, taking those moments of meditation throughout the day, and just to clear your head. They really, really help. They really help.
And I think another thing, like what you just said too, like, exercise making you happier and, giving you more energy. But I think it does, all those mental health or self-care regimens that you're bringing up. It doesn't always have to show up as energy, because I know that I snap very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with kids, there's nothing like coming home and mommy, what?
Right.
What do you want? And it's like one more thing that you can't tolerate. And I think, that self-care really contributes in that respect as well.
It does. And it is a practice. It's not something that, I, meditated today, so I'm going to be, peaceful for the next month. It's definitely something that's a practice you have to work on, but slowly but surely you'll see things starting to change.
So what kind of practice do you have for yourself?
Definitely working out. I try to stay up on my working out, and I did feel from during the time of my wedding, after I came back, I started to get in the honeymoon phase, and I wasn't going to the gym anymore, and my body just started to feel it. I just knew. So I took about 3-4 months off of the gym, and then I knew that I had to get back into it, because I felt that I was suffering mentally, and my father was sick at the time, ended up passing away a few months ago, and I just knew that I needed to get back into the gym. So the gym has really helped, and like I said, not for just dropping a bunch of pounds, but just how I feel and making me feel like I did something that day versus just laying around doing nothing. Right. So that definitely journaling. I love doing bullet journaling, reading, just trying to curve some time out during the day for myself.
And how do you find that time? Like, I think that's kind of the thing that everybody's like, oh, I'm not going to go to the gym and go journal and meditate. I don't have time.
It's something that doesn't have to fill up, a bunch of time. I don't have kids yet. So I'm anxious to see how things transition when I do have kids, and I have to take out time for them. But, I just tell moms when, if your kids are at school, just try to get something, even if it's going outside, taking a walk that day, just try to just even start with 30 minutes for yourself. You have to start somewhere, and then you'll gradually work up to it. Spa days with the girls. I mean, as nurses, we love to get together and do that. I've done that many times with coworkers, or, meeting them for lunch, just something that's for you and for you only.
Right. Yeah, no, I love that. So when you are journaling, are you writing about things that happened to you, things that you're grateful for? Like what do you kind of recommend for yourself and maybe other
So with my journaling, my friend introduced me to something that's called a bullet journal. It's a little bit different from your normal just writing things down. It's your everything. I don't know how to explain it. So it's journaling. You can write things down. They have different exercise tracker, and these are things that you can find on Pinterest. There's a whole bullet journal like society, and
of course,
and what are they called? Like conventions. So just drawing things. There's exercise trackers where you can track, write a little chart and track how many, if you exercise that day, if you got your water in that day, and you kind of make it pretty. So my friend, she was showing me hers, and I'm like, wow, I cannot draw. I'm not crafty or artsy at all. And she's like, no, just start. You don't have to be that way. It'll just come to you, and gradually it really does. So, but they do have one thing that I really enjoyed, and school has gotten busy, so I can't say that I do it every day, but it's called 3 lines a day. And you just write 3 lines, what you're grateful for, what happened that day. And that's it. And I love going back to reading those, and it kind of reminds you of the small things you were grateful for. And that's actually, I didn't say that, one of the things how the whole me thinking about self-care started is I started to change my mindset, or the burnout, and just try to look at things that were positive throughout my day, write down at least 3 things I was happy for. And I have an ebook, and what I write in there is that, sometimes it would be like, oh, I'm happy I woke up this morning because I couldn't really find anything throughout my day when I was working that I was grateful for. But once you start to do it and get into the mode, you start to see, things that you're grateful for, and not look so down on life and down on your job. And that really helps. So I like the three lines a day is what it's called in the bullet journal.
Yeah, I love that too, because here I'm like thinking, I have perfectionism problems, and I'm thinking, well, I don't know if I can journal properly. It's just
right.
like,
And you don't sit there and write like, oh, today I did this, and this is how I feel. Because sometimes it's not that deep for me. My feelings aren't that deep, but just writing 3 things, like, I'm happy for this happened today. And then you can look back and reflect on, all the things that went well in your day, and things you've accomplished that you might have forgot.
Yeah, and the grateful part is good too, because I think that when you focus on, it's easy to focus on all the things that went wrong, and then those are the things that you remember. So then it becomes this kind of like cycle where you're always remembering how bad everything was, and it's
right.
kind of like, it doesn't have to be that way,
Exactly.
So I think that's an awesome idea. So what else with this company? So I know you have a lotion coming out soon. Can you tell us about that, and how you came up with this idea, and what it took to get it?
Yeah, so with my lotion, which will be the first product that I'm coming out with, I actually thought about it years ago, probably when I started nursing. I went to a scrub store with my mom, and I thought and I remember thinking wow, they don't have any lotion here for us, because my hands are always dry. They were dry before I started nursing. Now they're extremely dry after nursing. And I know my mom, for being a nurse, since before I was born, her hands have always been dry as well. So I didn't think anything about it. And then one day, just while I was on that break from work during honeymoon time, I thought, I wonder, I want to create a lotion, because we always at work have different types of lotions, expensive lotions, cheap lotions. I remember trying lotions on that had like a barrier cream or barrier in it that was supposed to withstand multiple hand washes. But when I would put them on and try to put my gloves on, they were extremely greasy. And then I remember other lotions that were similar to it, and they felt really thin, like I didn't have anything on my hands. So started doing research. Actually, I started making lotion for myself, and I was thinking, oh, this would be great if I can sell it. I would give it to friends and they would love it. These are just body butters, lotions that I will whip up. And I soon realized when I went back to school, started working again, that there was no way that I would have time to make it myself. So I started researching and ended up finding a business coach who specialized in product, people who want to create their own makeup line, hair care line, etc. So I ended up reaching out to her. I started trying to reach out to manufacturers to make the type of lotion I wanted at first, and I was getting nowhere, which then sent me in the direction of looking for someone to help me out with that. So
wait, but how did you know to reach out to like who did you even call? Like where would you start with that?
Just Googling, and I somehow ended up seeing private label. And what private label is you pretty much they make a lotion and you slap your name on the lotion and you start selling it. So I would call people and tell them what I wanted, and they're like, oh, we have that. And they would send me these lotions that felt great, but they still didn't have the barrier protection that I was looking for. So it's like no one was really taking me serious in what exactly I was trying to make. So I think I ended up researching more into private label, or they have custom, which is half private label, half custom. And then that's when I ended up finding the person to help me out with creating the lotion and finding a manufacturer who would help.
Okay. So you found a business coach that specialized in product development and a manufacturer that could make it. So how long did it take from you having this idea to getting to the manufacturer?
So the idea probably started around last July. I then ended up finding the coach in around October. And I have been working with the manufacturer for some months now. So it's gone back and forth between, first I got a chemist to do the recipe, but then, but then when I took that recipe from the chemist to the manufacturer, they were like, okay, well, this lotion is going to cost you like $20 a bottle to make. So ended up having to renegotiate things with the manufacturer. So I would say that all has taken probably about the last 4 months. And then they sent me a couple samples that were able to get it correct. And now we're getting ready to head into them making it. So there's a lot of moving parts, because there's making the lotion, then there's finding out who's going to package and ship my lotions, and then there's the packaging design, and then there's all the legal. So
now, did you know that any of this was going to happen when you got started with this?
No, absolutely not.
Not to know.
No, and that's what I would say, even with working with you, Catie, is anyone out there who is thinking about an idea, I would say, especially as nurses, because I would say get a business coach, because this is not our thing, and the world of business has just opened up my eyes to so much that I never knew existed. I always say I feel like I'm doing my nurse practitioner and getting a business degree at the same time. So without the two of you, I probably would have given up on the idea, to be honest. So yeah, I had no clue that it would lead here.
So how did you find the chemist, and did you shop around for chemist, and was he expensive? So
the chemist was through my business coach. It wasn't expensive for him to make the formula. It was about $500-600, but then you have to understand I really couldn't use that recipe.
Mm-hmm.
So
it seems like a waste.
But I was able to come to the manufacturer, with a recipe, looking like I knew what I was talking about, looking like I was experienced. So they really only had to swap a few things in and out to make it more cost efficient, because I know he put like an ingredient in there that could only be sourced from Austria. And I needed maybe like I don't know, 2 milligrams of the ingredient, but I would have to buy like 25 milligrams of the ingredient. So just little things like that you learn along the way. But I was still able to use the recipe for the most part.
How far off was the recipe from the recipes that you made for you yourself?
Well, the ones I made for myself was more like body butter. So those were just simple, like, your shea butters and your oils, mixing them together with a mixer. But this is more.
You say that like everybody does it. Like I've never done this before.
Okay, so yeah, it's pretty far off because this has a barrier, a silicone barrier in it, and then some other healing properties that help keep the skin more moisturized than just your normal body butters, which is pretty easy. That's like maybe 4 or 5 ingredients, versus I believe my lotion has about 12 ingredients in it.
Okay. All right. So you got the chemist, you got it to the manufacturer, you modified the recipe to fit something that would make the lotion effective and affordable for people to buy and for you to make money on it as well, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So in this whole process of getting the lotion to market, what has kind of been your marketing angle? Like, how are you going to take it to hospitals, or are you going to take it to how are you going to market this?
So the plan right now is to using social media, and then I will probably get more into some Facebook ads because the product is such a niche product. Marketing mainly to nurses right now. I mean, any healthcare professional really. But since I am a nurse, that's my initial market there. And then I do plan to expand I'm thinking of retail. Just listening to other people is kind of scary because once you get into retail, they can kind of, I don't know, it's just scary. Like I hear people getting into Target and then they pull them and then just trying to keep up with the demands, and is it cost effective? You get your name out there more, but are you losing more money going into these big brand retail stores? But definitely scrub stores, I would like to try to get the lotion in scrub stores. Hospitals, if I could, that would be great. I don't know how much legal or what guidelines that they have for hospitals. But that would definitely, anywhere that I could get it out. I'm starting with a small batch first to see, how we do. And then I plan to scale up from there.
That's really awesome. Yeah, so I wasn't aware that, is that kind of like, I'm thinking of Groupon, like if you get into Groupon and you get all these customers, but then they all kind of like, take your stuff and run, as opposed to like getting your stuff in a Target store. That seems like it would be a gold mine, and yet it might not necessarily be.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Now, and it may be different with something as simple as a lotion. The margins might not be as difficult as people with a hair care brand who has 4 or 5 different products. So we'll definitely have to see when we get there, but right now my focus is mainly going to be the e-commerce, selling on my website, marketing, driving traffic there, and then definitely Amazon is a good option. So I definitely that would probably be my next step, would be from my e-commerce site and then onto Amazon.
Okay. And do you have other products as well that you're going to be offering?
I do. So I'm already looking for a foot soak that I've been testing out, which feels amazing on your feet, especially after you work a long 12 to 16 hour shift.
Easily.
So just kind of products, because I'm a product junkie myself, so I do like products, but I definitely do like when I find products that work. So the lotion, kind of goes with hands and feet, the foot soap, and then I'm not sure what after that.
Yeah, I can kind of see this as like a nice, especially like on Amazon where they have like gift baskets or something and, focused as a gift for nurse, especially as they graduate or something. I mean, that would be such an awesome gift.
Exactly. What
is the name of your lotion?
It's called Code Skin Hydrating Hand Cream.
Code Skin. Okay. And I have tried your skin cream, and it is amazing. It's got this real silky feeling that just, I don't know, it's not greasy, because a lot of, I just put lotion on that, I'm like wiping my hands on my pants. I wish I had your lotion. But it wasn't greasy at all, and you could definitely put gloves on as soon as you put that on. I mean, that's something I would definitely have in my back pocket going to work.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
I'll be sending you more.
Yay! I'll be buying more. No, that's awesome, Christal. And congratulations on all of that, because you really have earned yourself a street MBA. I want you to put those letters behind your name, because you deserve them. So that's awesome. So your mindset regimen, the exercise, and then taking care of yourself with the lotion, the foot creams, and the new ideas that you come out with in the future. I think it's a great idea. Actually, you should come out with a journal.
I was thinking that too. A journal will probably be, because that's something that I really enjoy. Maybe a journal with like a calendar in it for our crazy, hectic, busy schedules.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I can see that all as I would love to have that package. If somebody gave me that, the foot soaks, the lotion, the journal.
Right. Something specialized towards nurses. Because like I said, the lotion, there was one that was created by like a carpenter.
A carpenter, really?
Yeah, for their, rough, dry hands and washing them. But it didn't have the things that I felt us as nurses, like I said, it was too greasy to put your gloves on. So, and then the other lotion, I forget who that was created, for or with in mind, but nothing for nurses. And I'm like, we have like the worst hands. I'm surprised no one has created something, geared towards nurses, because I mean, that's all I hear us complaining about. Also too, thinking forward, as I would like to do some sort of supplement, vitamins, things like that, to keep us healthy, to keep us going, vitamin C, some energy supplements, things like that. Just things that I know that I could use in my daily life as a nurse to kind of just help my health.
It's just kind of like an aromatherapy infuser,
something like that. Something to just give us a zen moment, because we definitely deserve it.
I love those. When I've walked in, I've been looking at some houses and stuff, and I walk into some of them and they'll have those aromatherapy diffusers, and I'm just like, I'm gonna buy this house as long as the diffuser comes with it.
It really changes your mood. You're just like, and we've been doing them at work, having little diffusers, and I mean, we call them pods at work, and I'll come into a pod where everyone has theirs, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm staying over here forever.
It's so true.
Area.
And then they come up and they're like, you can't plug that in there, It's just
exactly.
But this is awesome, Christal. I think you got a great idea here, and you don't have to make everything yourself, right? Like, you can certainly curate items and just put Christal's stamp of approval on them, that you tested them and that you really love them. And I think as you grow, that's going to be a great business model for you.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
So tell us, if people want to find you, if they want to get your lotion, how do we get this, and how do we find out more about you?
So the website is coming out soon, but you can definitely sign up for our mailing list so you can know when exactly the lotion comes out. And the website is www.myselfcarerx.com. And then the Instagram is selfcarerx_.
All right. Awesome.
Different tips and tricks and things for nurses to do throughout their day or throughout their week to help us take care of ourselves, because we need it.
Yeah, we do. Well, thank you for doing this, and good luck to you.
Thank you.